Hi guys, welcome back to Sunday League to Champions League. My name is Chris, aka Big Will, and as you can see, today is episode 1 of our new club, Dundee United, in the Scottish Premier League. We did have a few offers coming through, but when I was looking through, I thought, you know what? Dundee United's quite an interesting one. They actually finished in the bottom half of the Scottish Premier League last season. They are a better team than Cheshunt, of course, and we have made a big step up to be in the top division of another country. All right, it's Scottish, it's the Scottish leagues, but I thought it was a good step up. And to be quite honest, when we have a look at the squad and everything like that, the players are of much better quality, and I think we could do something quite good here, which could then lead us further forward. And I'm really looking forward to doing it with this team. To be quite honest, I think it'll be a really good challenge, adding on to the 4 years that we've had at Cheshunt, and hopefully, like I say, we can do well for this coming campaign. And as you can see, plenty of heated debate left Cheshunt to join Dundee United. We've arrived with a record of 83 wins, 52 draws, and 67 defeats so far in our career. We'll face pressure to bring immediate success to the club, having stepped up from the previous standing to take charge, and we'll need to hit the ground running if we are to win over those who believe the appointment is a questionable decision. Some factions in the media have been touting me as the favourite for the job, and hopefully that will help. If I'm favourite for the job, it tends to mean that the fans are on side as well, but it may take a bit of time for the players to come over, so we'll have to wait and see what we've got in the relation to the squad, and hopefully, like I say, we can build a really strong team and hopefully get a top half finish. That's my personal aim. I think if we can get some decent transfers through the door, we will have a good season. Vanarama National League South Manager of the Season winner in 2024 brings a blend of experience, apparently, and proven credentials with him to his new job. Prefer 4-4-2 formation, that was what we ended up with, but we'll have a look at the squad and see what formation we go for this time round, because obviously I want to bring in my own staff, I want to bring in my own players, so there's going to be plenty to be getting on with. They finished in ninth place last season. I was keeping an eye on them at the end of the season because they were close to that relegation area as well, and although we'd already agreed the deal, the fact that they were flirting with relegation was a little bit of a nerve-wracking experience because I wanted to be in the Scottish Premier League if we were going to go in that league, in that country, of course. And they finished ninth, so we're still in the Scottish Premier League, and hopefully, like I say, we can get quite a good start as we go forward. They've got a 3-star reputation. Media prediction was 7th, so they're a little bit far behind. Obviously, we've got staff roles to fill and things to sort out, and it's great to have you here. As part of your induction, you'll be given a welcome pack, go through the club's vision and objectives, and we'll see what happens there. We've got great training facilities and average youth facilities, above average youth recruitment though, so we have got options there. We can hopefully improve some of the facilities as we go through. And in terms of transfer budget, we've got about £800,000 to spend. Wage budget is sat at about 77,000 there. I don't know how much they're already spending, so I don't know exactly how much I'm going to have to be able to spend for the coming season. But we'll see how we get on, and hopefully, like I say, we can create a decent team. Uh, Transfer obligations and loan obligations so far. Obviously, we're coming up to the end of the 2026 season, so all of these players that are in and out on loan will be returning to their parent clubs or returning to us. So we'll have an opportunity to really go through the whole squad and see what we need, see what we've got, of course, as well. And hopefully, like I say, we will do well. Levitt is a player that I do want to really focus around. Dylan Levitt's former Manchester United youngster, and as you can see, 11 million to 14 million pounds of value. He is certainly a big player for a club like Dundee United, so I'm hopeful that we can build a midfield around him. Sirkin as well, he's a reasonably solid left back and he can play centre back as well. Again, really good value. And again, solid players. These are just players that I recognise the names of. Sirkin came through the youth system, I believe, at Tottenham, and he's played on and off in the lower leagues with teams like Sunderland, I think, as well. But again, at 6 foot, he's going to be a very good left back for us, I think. He has been playing centre back for the most part, but again, he is a player that I'm certainly looking to keep around. Players like Ryan Edwards, he's 32 years of age. They might prove useful for us over this season, just while we get used to the squad. But again, we need to be quite careful in relation to the fact that we don't want too many older players at the squad. We need players with fresh, young energy that can come in and really do a job. Fraser Sharp played a lot of football for them last season. He's 6'4" striker. As you can see, his finishing's not great, so he might be someone that we have to upgrade and maybe loan out even. But his physicals are very, very good, and he's a very determined character. So again, he could prove to be a very important player for us. Whether his future is up front, I'm not entirely sure. But at 6'4", I think he's going to make a very good target man. But he certainly needs to improve on his finishing. There are one or two other names in that first 11, supposed first 11 that we have there that I do recognise. But Sirkin and Levitt are definitely the main two that I want to build around for this coming season. They want us to develop. They want us to develop players using the club's youth system. Hopefully, we can do that. Again, it depends completely on quality, and I will look at improving youth facilities as we go through this at the club. Because with every job that we take in this save, depending on how things go, we're looking at least 2 to 3 seasons with each club and building reputation and working towards moving on to bigger and better all the time. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in this first season and just get a good idea of where we stand, really. I mean, Scottish Premier League, yes, Rangers, Celtic, but for the most part, for the rest of it, it's quite competitive. I mean, you've got Aberdeen and Hibernian and Hearts who tend to fight out for the next 3 places. But if we can break into that bracket, I think we can have a good season this season. If we can get any kind of European football for the season after our first, it would be a brilliant effort, really. And we'll just have to wait and see how we get on. And obviously, transfer window is going to be massive this summer. We've got a lot of work to do potentially. And we want to bring in fresh ideas, we want to bring in fresh staff, fresh talent. And it's going to be a tough ask, but I think because we've come right at the very end of this season, as we move on to next season, obviously we've got the whole transfer window, we've got 2 months worth of transfer window, so we've got plenty of time to work things out. They want us to work within wage budget, grow the club's reputation. I feel I can do that. Like I say, if we finish in that top half of the table, club's reputation will improve, especially if we get into any continental football. Maximum of 1 year contracts for players over the age of 32. Again, it works really well with how I like to work. I prefer to have younger, fresher talent that comes into the side and they've just got that energy. Um, yes, you can't put anything down when it comes to experience, but players in the mid to late 20s will certainly serve a role. And if we sign players at the age of 28, for example, we can give them 3, 4 year deals and they will work well in the squad. But 32 and above, it's not normally my cup of tea, but we'll see how we get on. So, end of next season, they want us to just, there's not really anything down for next season. They're just going to wait and see how we get on. But the season after, we've got a 2 year contract, by the way. Season after our contract expires, but they want us to record a top half finish. So if we can do that this coming season, obviously we're ahead of schedule, and it's a case of making us a regular in that kind of position. So plenty of work to do, and as you can see, they want us to maintain that position for the majority of the future, which is quite a good target, and I think it'll work out for us. In terms of the supporters, they want same thing really, develop players using the U system, get the better of our rivals Dundee if we play them. They are in the league below us, Dundee, but if we draw them in the cup, we need to do well against them. Avoid relegation and record a top half finish. I mean, obviously, if you do one, you'll do the other. So hopefully, like I say, we can really do well with that. Schedule press conference to meet the media. Yes, every month. That is fine. And here we are at Dundee United. As you can see, there I am there. Finally found out, I've been playing Football Manager for years, but I finally found out how to put myself in the game for this representation, which was a quicker little thing that I found the other day. It just adds that little bit of an extra feel to it, doesn't it? So, really happy to be here. Like I say, we've got a lot of work to do potentially, but hopefully I think we can do well this season. Like I say, we've got a lot of players that we need to go through in terms of youngsters, etc. And I mean, there's this kid. He's a Mexican 18-year-old centre back. He's 6'4", decent physicals, and to be quite honest, at centre back, he's only 1.5 star current ability apparently, but he's got good defensive attributes, and I think he could be a player that we do use in the rotation. I mean, there's a lot of players there, of course. We'll confirm all that. And like I say, we've got a lot to work through, and we'll have a proper look at the financial side of things momentarily. Do, 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 do. So fine. Reached the knockout stages of the Premier Sports Cup. So this is like a pre-season cup type thing, and only the bottom half of the Scottish Premier League clubs start in the group stage, and you tend to play teams that are in the lower leagues. So hopefully, again, we'll get a good idea of where the squad's at, and we should do all right in that manner. We'll accept the current vision. We had a good look at that a moment ago. Squad dynamics. So as you can see, plenty of team leaders there, including Dylan Levitt, who we want to build the team around really. Managerial support isn't great at the moment, same as dressing room atmosphere, obviously. They've just changed the manager. We're right at the end of this season um, that we've just had, of course. But there's some good players that I do recognise. Middleton, Doherty, I recognise in there. Obviously, there's Sirkin, Levitt, and Edwards. Tony Watt's in there. He's a striker, if I remember correctly. Can play out wide. You got Johnston, who's actually leaving the club anyway, and Ashcroft, who's a right back. I do recognise those names, but as you can see, there's plenty of players to look at. Tony Watt there, of course, he's 32 as well. So again, he might be a player that we end up moving on just because of his age, really. And he lacks the pace now, and he's not a particularly good finisher either, and he's not got the work rate that I look for either. So again, it's just going to be ifs, buts, and maybes, really. I think actually what we'll do, we'll have a look at the tactic afterwards. We need to have a look at the squad first, really. I'll request summary to inbox for that. So looking at the squad, it seems a little bit bloated, to be fair. There's players that are loaned out, of course, and players that are still loaned in. Let's have a look. There's 28 players in the squad, so it's not too bad, to be fair. Johnston will be leaving. Tom Wilson-Brown's loan is finishing. He's returning to Crystal Palace. Kapakpe is also leaving from his loan spell. Joe Knight will be leaving from his loan spell, I believe, as well. He was on loan from Brighton. He is actually on an end of contract, and he's currently a 2.5-star current ability player, so again, he might be a player that we look at depending on how things are with the rest of the squad. Ethan Ross will be leaving the club. He was also in on loan. He was on loan from a team in the league below us, actually, so a bit of a strange one. Anaku was out on loan, and again, he's a good finisher and decent work rate and pace, but again, in terms of ability, he's not the best, the Ugandan international. We've got a fairly good range of players, to be fair. There's plenty of cover in a number of positions, but I think looking at the actual quality that we have up front, I mean, Mikason doesn't look too bad overall, but again, he's not got much pace. Miller Thompson, he's certainly not going to be one of the players we keep around, I don't think. Rory McLeod, let's have a look at him. So Rory McLeod's not too bad. He's the kind of player that I would build this team around. I mean, he's 5'7", so he's only a small striker, but he's a decent pressing forward, to be fair, and he's got decent finishing. He's got really good determination, a good work rate. Pace isn't too bad, but his stamina's good, and he's got decent strength as well, considering he's only 5'7". He's the kind of player that we want to build this team around. He's only 20 years of age. He will improve, and I think he could be a regular for us up front, to be honest. Looking at that position so far. Fraser Sharp, like I say, he's going to be in and around, but I think he's going to be a backup. Tony Watt will probably sell. So I think Rory McLeod's definitely going to be our main striker. In terms of wide players, the wing back slash wingers. So again, it could be a little bit awkward. We've got Niskanen there, who's a Finnish international who can play out wide. And he's not particularly great. He's got reasonable ability in the places that he needs it in terms of his pace and his work rate. Okay at crossing and dribbling. So again, he could play at the age of 28 maybe. Chris Mockery. So he's only 23 and he's a little bit more of a polished player, but at the same time, he's not particularly setting the world alight, is he? I mean, he's capped at under 19 level, but looking at this, there's one or two players that we'll definitely keep around, obviously. I mean, Glenn Middleton there, he's 26. Again, he looks like a really good player potentially, and he's a good winger for us as well. Can play as inside forward as well, which I'm edging towards doing a 4-3-3 type formation with the Gegenpress if we can. And again, physicals are quite reasonable, and out wide he looks quite decent, to be fair. Decent determination, he's got a good work rate, and his vision's brilliant as well. So again, he could be very useful on that left-hand side. Mikason, I did mention I'll probably keep Mikason, to be fair. How is he out wide? He's borderline, to be honest. He's okay out wide. But again, I think it's literally just going to be a case of filling holes in the squad, in my opinion. You've got Lewis O'Donnell there. He's rated very highly. He's only 20 years of age and he's a 3-star current ability player. He's got a good passing ability and he's very good with his teamwork and his physicals as well, but he's not a determined character, which can let players down sometimes in this game, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Greg Doherty, again, he's a good all-rounder, but he's not the best all-rounder, if you see what I mean. At the age of 29 now, he's not going to be improving anytime soon. Mati Kudjoe, let's have a look at you. So Mati Kudjoe, again, really highly rated player. He's only 22 years of age, and he's a very good player. 3.5-star current abilities are. He's decent pace, good agility, very good dribbler as well. First touch is great, technique is great, off the ball is great. He seems like a player that's suited for us, to be fair, with the system that we want to play. His stamina's not great though, it's only got 12 stamina, and out wide I'm going to need him up and down those wings. But, I mean, we've got a striker in McLeod. We've got Cudjoe and Middleton who will play out wide. Levitt is in there for central midfield with Lewis O'Donnell as well. I think central midfield's going to be a place that we're definitely going to need to strengthen, probably out wide as well, and maybe one striker, just to give us that extra bit. In terms of defence, there's a lot of players here that can play multiple positions, which is a bit of an odd one. So Liam Smith at the moment is going to be leaving on a free transfer. To be quite honest, I'm quite happy with that. But he's 2.5-star current ability. He's not too bad, to be fair, overall. But at the age of 30, he can probably leave. Left back, obviously we've got Sirkin. He is going to be my left back. There's no doubt about it. I want him there at left back. Scott McCann, also a decent left back, but at the age of 29, he might not have many more years left at the club. There's a lot of things that we've got to look at. Obviously, it's a case of player age, player ability. Kapakpe isn't going to be at the club anyway. So I think Sirkin is definitely going to be playing at left back. Ashcroft is going to be our only right back. And he's a 3-star current ability right back, but he's only 22 as well. So again, he's another one that can still improve. So that shouldn't be too bad. Jacob Comerford, again, he's only 22. His contract's actually up at the end of the season, so he's being released. Ross Graham at centre-back. He's 25. He's quite a solid centre-back, I think. He's not particularly quick, but at 6'3", I think he's going to be a really good option for us in there. Determined character, very good defensive attributes there. He'll certainly probably stay at the club. I mean, don't get me wrong. All players are for sale if we get good bids in for them, but we'll have to wait and see. George Johnston's leaving anyway. Ryan Edwards is 32. He has got a deal until the end of next season, so this coming season, of course, I mean. So I might keep him for this season. We'll have to see how we get on, but I might keep him for this season again. Solid defensive attributes, and at 6'4", we've got two big centre backs there. We are going to have to certainly reinforce our standing at centre back. Having only two first teamers in there without any backup is not ideal. And now for the key one, goalkeeper. We've got Jack Newman, who's a 2.5-star current ability goalkeeper. Again, he's not the best. To be quite honest, his kickings leaves a lot to be desired. His passing is poor as well. Reflexes and that are quite good, but again, you can't have a goalkeeper with only 6 positioning. That is not good at all. Now, Mike Cooper, he's a very influential player at the club, supposedly. He's a 4-star current ability goalkeeper, and I tell you what, he is the kind of keeper that we're going to need at the club, to be quite honest. We'll definitely have to look into another backup for sure. But in terms of goalkeeping attributes, he's a very determined character, decent positioning, throwing is excellent, teamwork is excellent. His passing's not great, and we'll see how it kind of works with him, but that is a very good goalkeeper for the Scottish Premier League, and I'm really happy to have him at a 4-star current ability. So we don't need masses in terms of first team, but we have got to build a squad here. So there's plenty to look at, and I'm quite looking forward to the challenge, to be honest. Like I said, there's going to be a lot to go on. They tend to want route one and wing play, but I think, to be quite honest, I'm going to change the whole philosophy here. And with the quality of some of the players here, I genuinely think that we could do quite well. And hopefully, like I say, we can really enforce a different style on the squad. We just want normal goalkeeper. I don't want a sweeper keeper. It makes me nervous every time. I'm a City fan, as you can probably tell. Every time Edison gets on the ball as that sweeper keeper, he makes me nervous. It's not a role that I particularly like, but uh, hopefully with this setup, we'll do quite well. We'll have the pressing forward. Obviously, that'll be the young lad that we spotted before. I've already forgotten his name, which isn't a great start, is it? McLeod. He's definitely going to be our number one striker as the pressing forward, I think. And in terms of wide left, wide right, yes, we're going to have to strengthen, to be quite honest. There's a lot to look at. We'll just have a quick look at the squad planner. And this is just for everything. So yeah, Mike Cooper, definitely our number one goalkeeper. We definitely need a younger backup, I think. Just someone that we know will improve. Left back, we've got Sirkin and McMahon. Again, they're two decent options. Sirkin's definitely going to be the first choice at 3.5 star current ability. McMahon, yeah, reasonable backup. Hopefully he can do well. At centre back, we've got to strengthen. We've got to do something here. Ross Graham is definitely going to be a key player with Ryan Edwards. With Sirkin playing left back, McCann playing left back, and Ashcroft playing right back, that's all we've got. And it's not ideal, is it really? We're going to have to really strengthen at the back, I think. And at right back, we've only got Ashcroft as well. So we need maybe a left back if we sell McCann. We need at least two centre backs and a right back for the first team. All right, we've not looked at the development centre yet. I don't know if we've got any extra decent players in there, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. In terms of midfield options, again, really struggling, I think. Craig Moore, we didn't actually have a look at him, did we? 3-star current ability, and again, he's 20 and he's Scottish. He's probably a player that's come through the youth academy. He will stay at the club because he's got the ability to improve as well. His determination's not great, but again, physicals are quite reasonable. And at 6'2", I think he'd be a good holding midfield player, to be fair. And it is where he will probably play. And same with Lewis O'Donnell. I think Levitt, Moore, and O'Donnell are definitely going to be here next season. Again, Ashcroft won't play there. Mockery, I don't rate him highly enough, and Doherty's probably going to leave as well. So they're the players that we've got for the whole midfield. Now, Mikason apparently can play normal central midfield. 2.5-star ability, normal central midfield. Again, he can be used there, but again, I'm not even sure if I'll keep him, to be honest. His quality isn't the best. And in terms of out wide, it's saying Rory McLeod out there. He's not going to play there. He is going to be up front. Miller Thompson, yeah, he's no good. So Thompson will go, Watt will go, Mikason probably go as well. Niskanen could potentially be sold as well, to be honest. He's 28, and yeah, he's got some good attributes there, but I think we could better use the money for other areas of the squad. So we've got one right winger as the inside forward, which is Matty Cudjoe. McLeod, of course, is going to be our striker, so we definitely need wingers. There's no doubt in my mind that we need wingers. Glenn Middleton will play wide left probably as well. And again, all of these other players will probably be sold. And then up front, Cudjoe can also play up front. 3-star current ability up front, not too bad. But McLeod is the man that I want there. Fraser Sharp is a good solid backup for us. And again, the rest of them aren't going to be here. Middleton's going to be out wide as well. So by the time we've sorted things out, we're not going to have too many players. Let's have a look at the development centre. A couple of 2-star quality players there, which is useful to see. So let's have a look at current ability. So Sean Hart is currently out on loan. Left midfield player. He was on loan at Spartans. He's not quite there just yet, but he's a 2.5-star current ability player who've played in his preferred position. Young left back there, Aaron Donald again. He's 21. I don't think he's going to be good enough either. Reece Lennox, young centre back slash right back. Again, not too bad. He's a 2-star current ability player. decent defensive attributes there, to be honest, and he's 6'1", so again, he could be a backup player. The thing is, we need to bring some of these youngsters through, no doubt about it, but we need them to be match ready when it comes to the senior side, and that is potentially going to be a problem. So Michael Rayside, again, he's got really good current ability with his mentals. Technical attributes aren't great, and he's not a good passer of the ball or a tackler either. So again, plenty to work on for him still. I think there's going to be a lot of loan deals here, to be honest. Neil Miller at right back, again, he's not good enough. Greg Petrie has been out on loan last season. Okay, to be fair, he's not a bad player. He's only two-star current ability, but I'm looking at those defensive attributes and his physicals as well. I think he could be a decent backup for us. He's only 5'11", which does give me a little bit of a concern, but that's not too bad. To be quite honest, he's a really determined character as well. I think he will come up to the senior side, to be quite honest. He's not bad, to be fair. I'm quite pleased to see him in the squad. Let's have a look at this one. Do-do-do. So, yeah, there's a few players there, isn't there? There really is. Bertie, I mean, I'll do full assessments on all of these players as we go by anyway, but there's some decent young talent in here, and one or two of them may get promoted into the senior team. We'll just have to be patient and see what happens. Those that are 2.5-star, maybe 3-star potential, they haven't got a future. I mean, Declan Glass is going to be leaving the club anyway, but he's 25 and 2-star. It's not enough. Peter Herring, 32 years of age, and his contract's up at the end of the season anyway. You've got Jose Calderon, who I spotted out before, 6'4", young Mexican centre back. I think, to be quite honest, he could go into the senior squad as well, for the time being at least. One or two, again, there's a couple more decent youngsters, 1.5-star current ability with 2 to 3-star potential. So again, there's certainly options there. Stuart Heenan, another young striker. I mean, there's so many players out here, isn't there? Lee Farrell, who's currently out on loan. He's very highly rated, apparently. Look at that valuation for him. He's not good enough to play for us as of yet, but again, really good potential. In terms of our under-18s, and again, there's a few with excellent potential in here as well. Hamish Matthews there, he's only 1-star current ability, but 5-star potential for him. Same with Shea Brody as well. But we look a bit further up, Oliver Bridgewood. I mean Bridgeford. I mean he's only 15 years of age, but he is definitely going to be a player. I mean look at him. I mean he's 6 foot. His pace isn't the best. He's got decent determination and work rate. He's 2-star current ability at 15. Decent finisher as well. I mean he can play wide left, to be fair, as well. He's not bad. So again, he could be a player that comes through eventually. Josh Watson's another one. He's a decent winger, 6 foot tall as well, so he's got decent physical ability probably there. Kenny Laidlaw, central midfield player. Certainly options from this youth academy. Vedran Osmanovic, bit of a different stance to the Scottish names, isn't it? He's 6'2", 15-year-old Swedish striker. Not bad, decent pace as well. Certainly a lot to look at for sure. Craig Walker's another one at 15. I think Oliver Bridgeford definitely is going to be a good player. So I think we've come into quite a decent setup here. There's youth candidates there, of course, which have all signed. There'll be one or two that haven't, of course, but there's nothing we can do there. Staff I'll look at a different time. And this video is moving on a little bit in terms of timing, so I do apologise. I have rambled a little bit here. But looking at the squad, there's certainly stuff we can work on. And with the number of youngsters at the club, I think there's definitely stuff to build on as well. We're going to have a very active transfer market. We'll come back. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work in terms of fixtures, because obviously we're in that other cup. So the Premier Sports Cup actually starts in July. So I'm not sure. Depending on who we draw in that cup, we might just skip through the Premier Sports Cup and then come back for the start of the Premier League. And we'll see where we've been up to with transfers. So we'll have a transfer roundup. We'll have the first league game of the season. Like I say, we'll get through the Premier Sports Cup as though it's a pre-season setup. and hopefully good times to come. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Please like and subscribe. It's all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time as we embark on our new adventure here in Season 5 with Dundee United. And this is Big Will signing away.